Welcome back to an episode. So for those of you that like to follow the channel, we have just come back from the groundworks series where we've just completed the concreting. Now at this stage, I don't know whether that's already been on or it's to come, but if it hasn't to come yet, myself and Luke and Matt have been doing a quite an extensive groundworks, so all the sewerage connections, water connections, putting a raft, so a lot of metal work involved, and then we've just come back from concreting it. And we're now back at this job now, where Matt has been carrying on with the plaster work, and myself and Luke just started ripping out the old kitchen to allow us to put the new steel on the inside skin after completing the outside skin last episode. Let's have a quick look at the progress and we'll talk you through what we're doing next. Luke, there's definitely something wrong with this bucket. Every time I fill it, it just, I don't, well.
There's only a little hole in it.
Now show me what it's ready for.
Right then.
How good's that? And then you just pull it up and...
Yep. So I got shaft.
There you go. Very clever. Very clever. I still had a laugh though. Maybe yourself laugh, nothing else. So we've had a good tidy up before we start exposing the brickwork, ready to set the pad stones and the new steel. Didn't want any stuff under our feet. There's a couple of things I need to do is remove these two pipes here. Pipes! That come through there, which are temporary for something in the old utility. So I need to remove those and then allow Matt then to bond that before he starts to skim it. And as you can see, he has cracked on from the last footage, which is this wall, cracked on, and he's put that wall on now. I think we've disturbed this peace and quiet. He'd be the first one to say it'd be nice when we all get back together, but when we do, he likes, oh, I just wish peace and quiet now. we turned up this morning, and what was his first words, Luke? What have you come to disrupt? What were your words? What have you come to disrupt now, or?
What part of my chi and feng shui have you decided to disturb this time?
So, you can't win, can you? You can't win. You can't win. So we're going to go back into that room in there and put the steel in, or start to set it, and Matt's going to continue with his putting pink on the walls.
With his feng shui.
And we're going to try not to disrupt his feng shui anymore. So this is as we left it last night. All this has all come out now, all the sink's out, it's all gone into the corner in the extension, ready to plumb back in a minute. We've got our strong boys and our crows in, and the lads have just started to take the beads out. Ready to take the windows out first. That's where we are. We had a right good tidy up, and then Matt got that wall finished. I'm up the top, just doing a couple of trims that we had to get extra to make sure it looked nice on the scaffold, on the fascia, because the scaffold is coming down today. So let's get on with it. As we left it on Friday, then when we left, all the acros have been in all weekend now, so I can take those out shortly. All the little utility was set up, temporary. I've obviously been using it because there's a plug there. Happy to see there's no leaks anywhere, there's no water on the floor, so everything's obviously connected as it should be, which is good. And other than a clear up, I got the stud work in the outside skin as well. So the idea now is what Matt likes to do. Instead of bringing the stud forward and trying to get it to the exact point where the back of the board's going to be, what Matt likes to do is he'll use all his excess strips he's got lying around now, and rather than wasting them, he'll fix them onto this stud work now, all over it, and then he'll dab onto that then to bring his board through, because we've just found that if you try and do that and bring this out to the exact point and laser it all, you never get it exactly bang on, and there's a bit of a lump in the wall or whatever, so we stopped doing that now. So we set it back, board it, and then dab onto the board. And that's what he likes to do. And then what we do, once the dab's gone off, we just put a couple of screws in. So we sort of screwing it and dabbing it, but the dab then acts as a bit of a packer almost. That's what we like to do, and it seems to work really well. It doesn't seem to crack, doesn't seem to move, and Matt's happy with it. That's all that matters really. I've got to put a little bit more stud work in here because the customer doesn't want to see the end of the cupboards there, so they'll probably come out to this point. And what I'll probably do is have a look at what that's going to be once it's finished with dab on it, and then bring this one out the same. So as a visual, when you're sort of standing here, that nib and that nib are exactly the same, and that makes the most sense to me because the island's going in the middle of the cupboards. So it'll be nice if that distance and that distance are the same to make it look nice. So that's what we'll do. Today's horrible job, and to start the day, is taking that lath and plaster ceiling down. So I think it's going to be get the old suits on, I think. A couple of suits on, masks, and just get on with it, I think. And hopefully we don't find any unforeseens in the ceiling. Well, I can see there's a couple of stains on the ceiling already from previous leaks, but they're all been fixed now, so hopefully we don't find anything else. So the ceiling's down and the dust has settled. And as you can see, it was quite the mess once we'd finished. We got the plasterboard down first, and then we decided to just go for it and get the bars and just rip it down rather than trying to cut it and try and maintain the dust, because we just couldn't. We haven't had to suffer much trouble in this one. We haven't found much in this one like we have done in the past. There's a couple of junction boxes there and there, but Craig will soon sort them out. Cut the pipe work there. There's clearly been some kind of leak at some point in the ceiling because there's new boards. Look, and all the plasterboard that was in this area was quite heavily moulded. Taking nails out now, aren't we? Last little bit, take nails out, de-nail all the lath nails, as you can imagine. There's a lot of nails in this ceiling. So I'm making sure we get all them out, and then we are good to go again, I think. So I think what I might do, Matt, I might put another screw in that, I think. Just put it up there, yeah. So there we are. What I'm going to do now, I've got to put a stud work in there. I think I've already talked about it, potentially. I think I have. Stud work in there now, just to bring it the same reveal as that one. So that's my next job, while Matt completes that. What I'm going to do this. So Matt's done this, done the stud work, we had a caught on the time lapse. What we've got to do now, I'm going to put a bit of 50mm king span in there. We've got a bit of an offcut now. So I'm going to put some in there, that cavity, and I'm going to put some in that cavity there, foam it in. Should have done it first, completely forgot about it. There we go. I'll put 50mm in there, just for the sake of why not, we've got it. Shut the sheet left over, and then studded that in, that's ready to go. And all Matt will do now, I'll put a board onto there, and because this wall isn't exactly plumb, and the bead bends in a little bit like that, what I'll do now, I'll set it back to 15mm as parallel. It's not, the timber isn't plumb, it's parallel with the wall, should we say, with the bead. So I set it back 15mm and you'll bond it in then, bond that in, and then pull it in nice and flat. So to try and eliminate seeing that, even though it's going to be covered across here anyway. So that there gives us our reveal we've already talked about, to match that reveal exactly the same. Put the noggins in the steel, all the way out there now, ready for our pink board. Matt has cut that out there to make sure we fully cover the steel in pink board all across there. He'll then dab this in the same as he has done there in terms of cutting a notch out, which then allows him to get this across here into that room to set a reveal depth, the same as this one. Because Sean has been, if you hadn't noticed, on the time lapse and put the pipe work in. I've got him to put some plastic down there for me because I don't want any more joints. There's joints up there and this comes all the way through. This is coming to an island now up here. So I said I want to put it in plastic. That's barrier pipe as well, so I can bury it in this. I'll put a bit of lagging over it or something anyway, but I'll concrete it back in, then I'll compact back in to the island here. I just, rather than doing copper, I thought it's just one continuous bit of 2 bit lengths of pipe then, and I'm happy with that. What he has done, I think we've already talked about it, he has taken the stainless steel pipe out. Now, I've got him to talk to me about it, and it was something to do with a copper shortage. And he said the reason for taking it out, it causes erosion in the brass fittings, and it's something called electric action. And it causes something to do with currents in pipes or something. Anyway, so if you're interested in what all that was about, then if you Google electric action, you can find out more about it. But that's what it says it causes. Hence, I said, okay, fair enough then, take it out. We'll put it in plastic. There's a bit left over there, but at least it's in a position in the floor to get to it if there's a problem. We've pushed it in as far as we can to get away from that. And everything else is all fine now. So all of that stainless steel pipe has gone. Something to do with a copper shortage in the 70s, which is why I started using stainless steel. And believe it or not, it was used as a replacement because it didn't corrode, but then it corroded things around it. So there we are. Bit of a history lesson from the channel there, even though I'm not explained very well. So we'll crack on with this, form the reveal there. And I think we are then going to go and do the gutter on here now, because we haven't done that yet. Scaffold come down, as you know, and we're going to do the gutter on the front of here now. That'll be a bit easier while the weather's still dry. And then tomorrow, Matt will be on the pink again, won't you? Pinking everywhere, all this, all the ceiling, all the corridor, because while I was doing the stud work, Matt has dabbed all that in, so that's complete now as well. And like we talked about, once you've dabbed, you'll then put a few screws in that timber, won't you, just to hold it as well? Because what he did was, I don't know if you can see it now, can you see it from inside? See all the little bits of board? So he puts board on there all the way down to act as a bit of a dab catcher almost. And he dabs to it, and it means you can pull his lines better rather than trying to get the stud work all in line, which you could do it, of course you could, but you'd take 4 hours to do it, so there's no point, is there, Matt?
Not really.
And that's solid as well, isn't it? Plenty of screws, bit of dab, and then likewise, you know where the dab marks is, we'll just put some screws in after anyway, and just dab it to the stud. Works well, doesn't it?
It does. Doesn't go anywhere.
No, doesn't move.
It's quick, like I say, it's quicker.
A lot quicker, and there's no need to wider things. Yeah.
Exactly. And the same thing we'll do across there. So
Put a little bit of board on the timbers,
yeah,
and then pink board on, bit of dab,
yeah,
and then pink board, and then screw it after.
and then you can mechanically fix it as well. So
And it works.
it does work.
So that's why we do it. I dare say we'll get some comments, but why not?
well,
There
yeah.
we go. Well, you know, that's what we do. There, tell us what you do. So me and Luke are back now, and if you've been following, we are coming back from the part of last week's episode where we're at the foundations job, where we're getting ready for the inspector. So we're back now to see what's going on at this job. Just at our sandwich, lovely sandwich at Craig's bought us, haven't you, Craig? Thank you, Craig. And we find Matthew in the porthole doing that. Just finishing off. He had a bit of a day yesterday from all accounts because it was quite warm, and he did all the ceiling yesterday, and he said he literally didn't eat anything. He was chasing the ceiling around to make sure it didn't
What's going on?
didn't go off. So
Whoa!
we're ready now. Matthew, anything to say quickly, please? Get it home and done with, quickly. Nothing? No. Okay. Craig's going to do the first fix in here and start making good everything that's wrong in this place, like this, all this, wrong, and the likes of this, almost a ring in itself from a spur. Well, that's wrong as well, isn't it? We are starting to break up the floor now, is our next job, to start getting our waste from there into under the island here and get the hot and cold feeds into here as well. That's our job at the minute, while Craig carries on and does this. Matthew is round the corner here, finishing off the plaster work up there. He had a bit of a day yesterday because it was rather warm and he had to chase the ceiling round. And it was said egg shelling, did you say, Matt, when it gets warm?
Shelling.
Shelling.
Yeah, it's drying out too quickly for the face. So it's a lot of water, a lot of hard work, a lot of.
And then what, the face starts to come off or something if it gets too warm?
Shells. It literally peels as you travel over. It's too dry.
Nice. That doesn't sound good, does it? So as a consequence, he didn't eat all day yesterday, bless him, apparently.
I'm wasting away.
I wouldn't go that far, but yes, it's not nice, is it? I suppose when you go to that, you don't get a chance to stop at all. Can't be good. But there we are. That day's over, and this is a new day. So now we're going to just make loads of row. So me and Luke have just come from concreting the groundworks job we've been doing, and you would have seen that last week. However, despite the obvious joviality amongst the lads, myself and Luke come here very, very disappointed, because despite us coming here to tack the ceiling to allow Matt to do what he's doing now, scrape and bond and everything, because of the mess that was in this ceiling of the existing cabling, and if you remember, all the cables that were there, all the junction boxes, of which there's still a couple left anyway, we can't do it because unfortunately Craig hasn't finished, and because he'd booked himself out, as you do when you're self-employed, you try and get your days so you're working all week. He can't come to us now for 4 days. Very disappointed, but there we are, it is what it is. Matt's going to continue today just to scrape and prep what he can, because he's got to bond these walls out anyway, bond skim these. Excuse me. Luke's just taken the skirting board off there, just so Matt can bond that as well. And we are now going to come up with a new plan. We didn't talk about this when we did it, when we were here last time. We've chopped this in, obviously put our pipe into there, and we've put our water pipes in there and the cable. However, we've decided, going away from this from 2 days, to come back. We're now going to take this floor up and we're going to re-concrete it and insulate it and DPM it properly all the way to there. Now, you people watching now, whether you're builders or whether you're customers, can answer this question for me. If you're a builder, do you quote for everything that you think might happen and then risk not getting the job if you've put too much money in? Or do you quote for what you can see and add loads of extras on? Because should I be charging extra for that concrete floor, do you think? Or should I just accept the fact that it's might have been inevitable and I should accept it and take the cost on for myself? Because if you remember, it was all fully tiled, all the kitchen was on top of it. And I can only presume, I knew one half was wooden floor, so I knew that. But I can only presume that the concrete floor that's gone down has been put down properly. But clearly, it hasn't. Because I'll show you in a minute. In fact, I can show you there, look. If you look at that, it's concrete there, this is all cracked, and concrete there. And it's not even, I don't think it's even 50 mil. And as a customer, what would you expect? Would you expect to get a higher price but cover every eventuality? Or would you expect the builder to cover everything if anything goes wrong? Answers in the comments, please. I'd like to know what builders and what customers are sort of expecting and what people do. So if you can, I'd appreciate that. Just to, well, just give me your thoughts. Not sure if I showed you this down here before, but there we are. This is all lovely and clean. Look how tidy it is. Second skip that Matthew's filled, and we're still going. Let's have a look and talk about this floor that we are now going to take up. A lot tidier up here now, a lot tidier. Because we had the delay with the first fix electrics not being done, Matt didn't do anything other than PVA'd, and then we got a couple of skips sorted. He screwed that on properly because that was left off to allow the spark to put his cable down there and into there. So we've already talked about this in terms of would you or would you not, costings, all this business, but I'll allow you to comment away with that one. What we're going to do now, we're going to get all this up, break it all up to the floorboard there, because that's all floorboards that way. Break it all up, dig it down to allow us to concrete back to that level. Then we're going to 100 mil insulation, then all the way through into here against the floorboards, and or DPM first, obviously, insulate, and then screed all the way through. Screed is being done next week, so we're going to get ourselves prepped for that, which means that's got to come out. But hopefully, next episode you'll be seeing some of that going on. So coming up next then is the footage of us breaking all the floor out and what have you, and then we can talk further about makeup of floors if you want to. We have discussed it where we did the groundworks, but makeup of floors and things, but we can show you all on this one, can't we, as well. So it appears that every time we concrete, and this is the third time we've concreted this week, that we have to rush. Same company, lovely fellas again, turn up with a wagon. We had 0.8 cube,
Yep.
0.8 or 0.7?
0.75.
0.75, okay, a 0.75 cube, which has given us about 140, it's definitely over 100 anyway, whatever, it's well over 100. But when we measured from this slab down to the dirt we dug down, we're about 180, 190, so we've got a discrepancy between the two slabs. But, well, you've seen it on the screen, you see it again. We way over what we need to be. 100 way over is good, but we way over, so we're really pleased about that. All we did, because we had a dry mix, we just wet it up a little bit to allow us to dapple it, and then it then allows us to trail it off so it just looks a bit nicer. It doesn't need to be anything posh looking, because you're never going to see it again, but we just need to make sure that it's flat, so when we put the insulation on, it doesn't end up not doing this or you know, whatever, any voids under it. That's what we need to try and achieve. That's what we're doing now. So the time is nearly 1 o'clock and we have nothing to eat yet. No drink, no nothing. Just to try and get this in and get it off the drive. But we're really pleased, it's another job done. And this will be dry for tomorrow and allow us to start insulating in there and DPMing again. DPMing all over this now. And then DPM, leave that in for now. And then when that comes out next week, the day before it's meant to be screeded, we can then quickly DPM that in. And then, yeah, insulate that bit. And then screed will be down. Pleased about that. But it's definitely time for something to eat now. New day and first job is to scrape and sweep the floor before we start putting the DPM down. Even though I think Luke wanted to be in Venice on a gondola, by the looks of it. But yeah, anyway, so that's what we're doing now. We're just going to prep all this. Make sure there's no horrible snots of compo or plaster on the floor, which there isn't really, but we'll give it a sweep anyway. Soon comes up, knock all the dust off the concrete. I'm going to get the drill out and fix these pipes and the cable to the floor here and put this bit of waste pipe back in. Now that's set to that position where I wanted it, and that'll come up in the centre under the island. So I'll get that set now, and we'll be putting our insulation over the top. In fact, no, I won't be putting this in yet. We're going to put 150 of insulation there, 150 there, and then we're going to put a 50 under that pipe first, put the waste in and put the 100 over the top of it, because we've got to notch the bottom of it to get it in. So we'll do that first, because as you know, this is a change of plan when we realised how bad the floor was. I think we were kidding ourselves. I think we were going to leave it in, but there we are. We couldn't stop in. So we'll crack on with this. Luke will crack with that, and we'll start to put some DPM down.
And some more gondolin.
And some more gondolin, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? If the sun gets any warmer, we'll be in our swimming trunks.
Do the stripy top.
Yeah, stripy top, yeah. Stripy top, yeah. DPM is finished then. We've paid, as I've talked about before, last week when we did, is it last week? Anyway, when we did the groundworks one, we talked about DPM and always at the garage conversion. I've lost track. Make sure when you put your corners on, you haven't got no sort of horrible sort of rolls of your plastic. Make sure you put it down tight and then tape it. So we've been all the way around, taped everything, all the corners, all in the internals and externals, all the way around. Taped all your joints. We've used a mixture of silver tape and black tape, just because of what we got. I haven't got any more of the black tape. We've cut this and then rolled it back, and then we'll just put a join piece on there, which is sitting on top of there, ready to go. So when we put that back, we can then put a piece over the top and join it once this comes out next week. And what we do now is we're putting our perimeter insulation on. So it's 25mm, cut 200mm, which isn't specific. It's just the fact that it's just under our plasterboard line there. And then this goes on, insulation goes against it, and then that sits lovely behind the plasterboard line. And what I normally do then is I'll put that on like that, and then that gap under there, I'll foam under there once the insulation's on, and once the screed's gone on, because it all holds it down tight then, foam it in, and then when you put the skirting on, the skirting goes over the top, seals it lovely. Not looking forward to that in there, because we've got to go over the top of the pipes. But you would have caught me on the time lapse going over the top of this, putting all the clips on. I've then put the cable in some of this stuff, this capping. A few offcuts you got, and I taped them together. Yes, so when we come to putting the 50mm in here first, as I've already talked about, we'll put the pipe on top of that, attach these cables and the pipes to it. I may even turn the water off and cut them off because they're massive, those pipes. And that's that. We're just trying to make sure that when we put these corners in, to make it easier for the next stage, which is the 100mm, that we make them square like that, and then tape the corners together. And that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's easy peasy really. It's just in there, it's the hard part. Because as you know, we are 50mm lower there because we dug the floor down a lot lower. And we're going to use the 150mm up that we got left from when we did this warm roof. So there we are, we'll crack on with this now. And we'll talk about next stages after that. So we spared you the time lapse. I don't think I filmed all of this if I'm honest, but I'll quickly, very, very quickly talk you through. So we cut the 200mm of the 25mm as you saw me do on the saw. It's quite simple on the saw, just set it, run it through, quite quick. I always use my saw for that now. We've put it all around the end. We taped all the corners and all the internal corners, taped any joints together like behind that board there. We have cut our piece there, look, ready to go in that corner. We have a piece up there, ready to go for across there when we put this in, once that comes out. 150mm worked perfect there. So we did 150mm left hand side and then we 150mm this side. But where you can see the tape there, look, what I did was, and you can see on the screen, I cut it in pieces, foamed underneath, put a piece under the curl of the pipe and the cable, I foamed it all in and then put that piece on top to finish it off and foamed it all in again. This bit here, we'd already discussed, I'll put a 50mm on the floor first, and then when I put my 100mm on, I cut it to the left hand side of this pipe, and then underneath the pipe I put some supports, which is just some bits of insulation, just to make sure it doesn't depress, and then I've filled it underneath with foam, completely all the way across, completely filled it, to make sure the pipe doesn't sag, especially on the joint. Then what I've done is I put the other piece next to it, here, and where the gap was, I've then put some 25mm pieces, cut to size, over the top and foamed it in again, completely foamed it in. They're in the right place now to come up into the cupboard. I'm going to have to manipulate these hot and colds a little bit to go where they've got to go, but at least that's done, ready to go. And we are really happy with that, really, really chuffed. It's even worked out flat here as well, which we didn't think it would, but it did. It just happened. I think it was a bit of luck rather than judgment, I think, wasn't it? No, it was, yeah, you're right. We meant it. We meant to go 50mm too deep to use up the 150mm we got left over from the roof. We meant to do that, didn't we? Something smells and has got horns. So that's it. Done now. Craig is back tomorrow, which is Saturday, bless him, to complete all of this, get all this done, ready for me to come on Monday morning first thing and tap the ceiling with Matt, and then myself and Luke will be leaving Matt to it to bond, prep, beads, tape, etc., and then start skimming, which he's very pleased about. Well, at least I think he is anyway. And me and Luke can go over to the garage conversions, do some more on that, and then hopefully next week, maybe, next week, possibly, you may see the first episode of the garage conversion. Not sure yet. Depends how much of this we get filmed and whether I've got too much now to put in one episode. But we shall see. So for now, we're going to go off for have a weekend, aren't we? Matt's already got his sunglasses on to enjoy himself. Off we go. Try it a bit.
Ta-da.